What's going on, everyone? It is an end of an era for the Orlando Magic and their center position. They no longer have Mo Bamba, as at the trade deadline, they ended up trading Mo Bamba to the Lakers, and they just recently released Bol Bol, clearing him off of waivers. He will be a free agent, and he has the rights to go sign with another team. And it makes sense for Orlando, right? They got Banchero, who was just an absolute stud for them. They ended up bringing back Mo Wagner. So they're basically a team full of centers and point guards. It's really just like the weirdest thing, right? Like that's their entire roster, a bunch of big men or a bunch of like undersized guards. It's just, I don't know what they're going to do with that roster, but it made sense that they released Bol Bol and Mo Bamba. Both guys are very young. Both guys have a lot of potential. A lot of people are really high on Bol Bol. I even made a video talking about how, hey, does Bol Bol end up being a guy that like the Lakers look to bring on, right? Do they keep Mo Bamba? Do they bring in Bol Bol? Do they do both? Right? Like the Lakers have two roster spots, so is that something that the Lakers consider? That could be a real possibility. But for the Lakers, one, Bol Bol, another team has the opportunity to pick him up, right? It goes in order based on like I think it's like seeding or whatever. So I believe like the Detroit Pistons actually have the first dibs on Bol Bol. But let's say he goes through the ladder, like because I don't see Detroit taking him on just because they have again 15 guards now. They did, or 15 centers. Now they did try to trade for him at one point, but that was also, if I'm not mistaken, before they ended up trading for Wiseman, and their centers kind of started to bloom and blossom. So I think it's just a completely different scenario. It is very possible that the Lakers could be in a position to where, we have an opportunity to sign Bol Bol. Question is that the right move, right? Because the Lakers, one, they already have a young guy in Jackson Hayes, 23, same age as Bol, and that could be the guy. He's a little bit more reliable, in my opinion. Like Jackson Hayes, I think could play quality minutes. Like Bol Bol is really hot and cold. Like he is incredibly raw. If Bol Bol even reaches like a quarter of the potential that he has flashed, then he could be an absolute stud and monster. And we'll dive into that here in a minute. But if you're the Lakers, do you really want a bunch of kind of project bigs that are all raw that you really have to develop and grow? Like, yes, there's a bright side to that of like, all you need is one of them to hit, right? Like, you have Hayes, you have Bol, you have Mo, you have Colin Castleton. Like, you got these 3-4 young centers that you can really develop and grow over the next 2 years. And all you need is one of them to end up becoming something, and now you're golden, right? If two of them become something, now that was an absolute home run. But you still have to find playtime, opportunity, right? It's not as simple as just like them just taking a bunch of shots and reps in a gym. And so I think it really comes down to one or the other. I think you either bring in a Bol Bol or you bring in a Mo Bamba because you already have your Jackson Hayes, and then you end up running AD with Hayes, although I think the Lakers would be best suited to get a more veteran-led center, right? Get somebody that's a little more mature, a little older, a little wiser, has a better understanding on the defensive side, not as raw, because again, you already have Hayes and you have Colin Castleton that you could bring in who's on a two-way. But let's dive into both of these and make the point, right? So again, Bol Bol, Mo Bamba are both very solid. And if the Lakers brought one or both in, I think all of us would be happy, right? You got two guys that are 7 feet and above, right? Both guys have like ridiculous, like alien level wingspans. But Mo Bamba, in my opinion at least, is a little bit more refined, right? He's a guy that I think can be a little bit more counted on right now. I think Bol Bol's upside is higher, right? He's younger. He's like 2-3 years younger than Mo Bamba. The things that he has shown at times, his ability to handle the ball, play make, take step back threes, drive, be almost like a 3-level scorer, but at like 7-2, right? Like he's like the Wish brand Victor Wembanyama. And so if he even becomes a quarter of what people project Victor Wembanyama to be, then he could end up being a very talented guy. And look, you could run both of these guys, right? Like, you could go and bring both of them in and run sets with Mo Bamba and Bol Bol and have, like, just ridiculous size and length, especially if both kind of evolve and develop into what you want them to evolve and develop into. But, again, in reality, you really want that many young, inexperienced, raw centers that you have to grow and develop in. With Mo Bamba, I think that that's the route you go. I think you bring in a Mo, you allow him to kind of continue to grow and give him another chance. He only played 9 games for the Lakers, and in those 9 minutes, only played 9 minutes, or in those 9 games, only played 9 minutes. Average, gave you 4 points, 5 rebounds, an assist, which 9 minutes is pretty good. But if you actually look at like his time in Orlando, he's a guy that was basically 7-7, 7-8. His best year, he was 10, just under 11 points and 8 rebounds. Gave you assist and a block. He's averaged basically 1.5 blocks per game. But it's more his ability to stretch the floor, right? He's a guy that shoots or has shot 40% from 3. Right before the Lakers ended up trading for Mo Bamba, he was at 39, basically 40%, 39.8%, right? On just under 3 attempts, 2.7 attempts. Now, again, not a huge sample size, right? And Mo Bamba is very, very raw, very undisciplined on the defensive end. Like, that's his problem, is he's a guy that he needs to learn positioning and understanding, right? Like, he needs to learn not to take baits, he's a good help defender because of his length and his size and his quickness at times. And I do think that he has the potential to be a really good two-way big, right? Like, Mo Bamba on paper is like the perfect modern big, right? He's like everything you could ask for and then some as far as a modern big goes. But again, he's very raw. He needs development, but he's also 25. Where on the other side, you look at Bol Bol, right? And he's 7'2", so he's got a little more height. And on top of that, you're looking at a guy who, again, is very raw. Now, he's, in my opinion, more raw than Mo Bamba is. He's not as good of a shooter as Mo Bamba is. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, man, he's a big man that can take a step back and do this and do that. The guy shot, I'll be nice and round it up, 27% on 1.6 attempts per game. So he's not really a good three-point shooter, right? I mean, granted, again, it's a small sample size at just under 2 attempts per game. From 2-point range, he is 63.3% overall, and he has an EFG of 57.7. So he's a guy that, again, give you 10 points, 6 rebounds, give you an assist, block, steal. He's the low risk, high reward guy, is what Bol Bol is, right? Like, Mo Bamba is the guy that I don't think Mo is ever going to reach the potential that you want him to reach. As much as I hope I'm wrong, and I would love to be wrong. It's 25. He's already had off-court issues. He's kind of who he is at times. Like, there's been questions about his work at, like, there's a lot that goes into it. Where Bol Bol, you haven't really heard a lot of that same stuff. Although there have been reports of, like, attitude issues with Bol Bol and, like, his lack of playing time. Is that what he's going to want? Is he going to be okay with that with the Lakers? Right? Like, because the Lakers aren't going to be playing him 30-plus minutes a game. They're just not. And, I mean, this past season, he played 21.5 minutes per game and he was complaining at times. What's going to end up happening when he's getting 10 minutes a game? Like, you know what I mean? Like, well, maybe it's well, at least I'm on a contender. You know, at least I'm on a good team rather than, like, not getting any kind of burn for a bad team. That could be one way to look at it. That could be kind of a perception that Bol Bol could have. But I like the idea of Bol Bol. I don't mind bringing him in. I just think you might as well keep Mo Bamba, right? Like, because the Lakers, again, you got Jackson Hayes. Which I think Jackson Hayes helps a lot more. I think he's very solid, gives you that athletic, floor running big. Cool, perfect. I'd rather go with Jackson Hayes, and then I'd rather develop the young guy that you have in Colin Castleton, who is already more refined and already, yeah, he hasn't played NBA minutes, but he's a guy that I think that can be your development guy, right? He's on a two-way, so you don't have to actually sign. Like, he's a guy that you can bring up and down, get him some burn, get him some run, go get a veteran big. If you want to bring Mo back, but go get a veteran big, and then there you go. At least Mo can give you, like, you kind of know what you get with Mo right now, right? Like, he's a little more predictable. Like, you give him 10 minutes, he's probably going to get you 6 to 8 points, 6 rebounds, block. He's going to get you 3,000 that time. But hey, you're just trying to get him to get a little run. Where Bol Bol, it's like he has games where he looks like he's, the second coming of Kevin Durant at 7'2", and then he has other games where he just looks unplayable. Like, you're just like, whoa, like, this looks like a completely different guy, right? Like, if you look at Bol Bol highlights, like, I completely get people being like, why haven't the Lakers give this guy a max? Why isn't this guy getting $40 million a year? Because, like, if you just watch his highlights, this guy looks like the greatest player we've ever seen. But that's not the reality. That's very few and far between. It doesn't mean he can't get there and get consistent. I'm not as high on Bol Bol as other people are. I wouldn't hate it. I don't mind it. Like, if that's the guy that the Lakers want to develop and grow, you do have a couple extra years with him over Mo Bamba, right? One's 23, one's 25. Then sure, but I don't know. Anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Would you rather go Mo Bamba? Would you rather go Bol Bol? Would you rather have both? Do you just think bring them both in and let them duke it out? Maybe give them both non-guaranteed deals and take the one that performs better, whatever. Hey, the Lakers won a chip with Shaq and Dwight. Maybe win a chip with Mo and Bol, right? That'd be kind of cool. But anyway, again, love to hear your thoughts and opinions, however you feel. Let me know down in the comments.